Okay, well, this is a learning process. I sprayed these parts and I sprayed this, this didn't need a bunch of paint, but I did take it down to bare metal, I put some self-etch on there and then painted it. Well, as I'm researching here, there's adhesion issues here. Like, I notice every chance this thing gets to chip off, it's doing it. Just little things. Like that chipped off when I put this hole in here. That chipped off. I mean, any little thing that rubbed it, just chipping off. So I'm taking all this off here, and I'm gonna respray this. I'll put some epoxy primer on it and respray this. Probably everything I sprayed black earlier is gonna have to be redone because this stuff ain't sticking in it, and that sucks. So. But it is what it is. All right, well, it's early in the morning. I'm trying to get this thing together. So I'm looking at the calendar and I'm thinking that it's gonna be difficult. So I don't feel worth a crap. It's 5:30 in the morning. But I'm trying to get this thing pushed out to where I can at least get some base coat on it. Anyway, we got some guide coat on here. We want to see how flat it is. I do see, like, there's a spot right here that I don't like. There was a dent here. I did fix it, but it just doesn't. There's something odd about it. Okay, so I blocked this thing out with 320 and it was going pretty good. I thought maybe I'd get away with just, sand it a little finer, put some 600 on it, and then it'd be good. But it's just a couple of tiny things. I had a breakthrough here, which is no big deal. It's not even gonna really be seen. Some tiny lows in here, which I kind of expected. I could see that, but very, very slight. And those are actually covered up by the fender strut. But there's a breakthrough there, just tiny to it, which isn't a big deal. You threw a little sealer over it. Tiny one there and there. This has got some lows, but the tail light goes over that. And then just a couple of small spots here. I might just take a little bit of putty and just with a razor blade and just go on the top of those just to get them a little head start. And then that's probably the biggest breakthrough there. But again, you can't even see that. That fender strut's right there. So it looks really good. This spot appears to be, to my eye, I can't see anything wrong with it. And so this went pretty quick. It took me maybe an hour and a half. So I'm going to, there are some pinholes. So it's going to get another round of urethane primer. And then it's going to be money, man. I mean, this thing is really, it looks super good. I'm pretty damn happy with it. And then I'll come back at it and wet sand it with like 600 or 800. 800 only because of the metallic that's in the paint. Normally I would do 600 if it's just like a solid color. But that's what I'm thinking anyway. I'll see. I'm going to go by the paint store today and talk to them and see what they say. So it's always good to have a good paint store. I just found a new one. They closed my old one, and these guys are really good. They do a lot of hot rod stuff. So Fluorescent Auto Paint in Florissant, Missouri. I know, Fluorescent. Hey, anyway, here we go. We'll see how this goes, and then work on the tank tonight. Okay, update on the body work here. We've got, I sanded the tank and the rear fender, which I know are gonna need to be primed again. The tank probably could have got away with it. But I'm doing this one, so I'm just gonna do the other one. The front fender and the cowl I'm gonna leave alone. I'm gonna go take them right to wet sanding, because there shouldn't be any issues there. I'm gonna get epoxy on here again, just on the spots that it needs, where the breakthroughs are at. Most of this fender will get it, but just on this tank, just the spots that break through. And then we can give it 2 coats of urethane primer after that, and then wet sand. So anyway, we'll get some epoxy down here, and I've got some other parts that I need to epoxy prime, so I'll spray some epoxy on this and let it dry for a couple hours, and then hit it with the urethane. Okay, here's where we're at. Sunday, middle of the day. Yesterday did the primer, and everything looks really good. I mean, these things look really, really nice, so I think those are going to be really good. We got all the pinholes cleaned up, so I'm just letting that dry for a couple, 3 days, and then I'll sand it. The swing arm, I went to lay the epoxy primer down on it. I thought I'd just epoxy it and spray it black and clear it, because I've got bearings in here. I don't want to, I had a hell of a time getting them in there, and I don't really want to take the time to get it powder coated, so I'm painting it again. So when I did, I took all the old stuff off with the incorrect primer underneath it, and then when I sprayed it with the epoxy primer right on this side here, some of the old product lifted or something. It just had a weird little seam going through it, and also did it up on top of this part of the swing arm, which this is the worst possible part. This is the biggest part of the swing arm you can see. Anyway, so I just went ahead, while I had the primer for that, I just went ahead and sprayed a little bit over here, the top part of this, and the sides, because those are the ones you can see. So I think I'll be able to get that cleaned up, and then we'll paint that at the same time whenever we do the base on that. So the front fender, I haven't done the cowl yet, although I'm looking at it, and it's got some shape to it, and I'm not gonna body work that thing. That's what I keep telling myself. So, and then the front fender, it blocked out really well with just the first round of primer. I just got a few tiny little pinholes that I just put some filler over, just the glaze, and then when this sands out, it'll just be a tiny little pinhole that has this material in it. This will all be gone. So, and just a minute breakthrough there and a small one there, which I don't think those are going to be problems at all. So, but I'm going to sand that, go over that. I'll have a final cut of like with 600 wet. So that'll be good hopefully good for metallic base coat. Anyway, that's where we're at with that. I'm going to head to the cowl here in a minute.